toward the connection at the time was in between worlds. So what this is telling me is that at the time, um, I feel like for a lot of you, this person was going through some sort of transition in relationships. Like they had reached a turning point in a current relationship or a former relationship, which at the time was current, in which they maybe had found out some information that um, kind of changed their course. Um, but it doesn't have to be a relationship. It just seems like there were outside things going on in their life that had nothing to do with this connection at the time that were kind of distracting them from putting all of their energy into this connection, if that makes sense. But I also want to see how they were feeling about you back then. This really confirms what I was saying about this in between worlds. The Seven of Cups is a card that is really all about it can represent like kind of like murkiness, like not being able to see things clearly, being kind of like in a dream-like state, not really understanding what like is actually going on. But more often than not, what the Seven of Cups represents is lots of different options and having to make choices, having to choose between a lot of different options. And with the Wheel of Fortune right underneath it, it feels like this person um, this person knew that there was something really, really special about you. However, there was just so many other things going on in their life at the time that were taking priority. It with In Between Worlds, it feels like they were kind of being like dragged through life, or like they were on like a roller coaster or something that they couldn't get off of. They just had to ride the wave. And so this Wheel of Fortune kind of symbolizes to me like just them having thrown their hands up in the air and being like, I can't want anything right now, or I can't feel any type of way right now because there's so much else going on that I have to focus on. So what I'm going to do instead is just leave this up to the universe and trust that what's meant to be isn't going to miss me. And we also have the Six of Swords and the King of Cups. It feels like they felt very calm and comforted in your presence, very safe in your presence, and they felt their heart space opening up in the past. It feels like this transition that I'm talking about was like a little bit tumultuous, and they felt um, soothed in your presence. And then we have the Six of Coins and the Four of Coins. I think also they saw you as somebody who had a lot to offer, and they saw themselves as somebody who had nothing to give. And because of this, they felt very reserved or very insecure of themselves, and therefore a little bit reserved. And you see it too with this Two of Swords. It seems like how they were feeling in the past when they first met you was kind of like they had no say in the matter of how they felt or what it is that they wanted or how they wanted to act, because there was just so much else going on. But that's what I'm seeing for this side. Now let's go ahead and get into how they see you now. So now your person is viewing you currently as the scribe and the nightingale. And their energy toward the connection is slimy and the lonely journey of the priestess. Okay, so um, what I'm getting from this is that so the scribe and the nightingale are two very similar energies. Um, the nightingale is a storyteller and a musician and a singer and a person who lives speaking their truth and speaking it kindly, speaking it from their heart. And they're viewing you as somebody, I would say, that they, for one, trust. Um, and perhaps if you guys aren't in like a committed connection of some kind, it's not like they trust you in the sense of they think you guys are committed, but rather they trust that you aren't going to, that you have their best interest at heart regardless, for one. But I think that they just see you as somebody who's very eloquent with their words, who's very communicative, who has the ability to share insight, and comfort with others. Um, I would say that they think very highly of you still. And I would say that not a whole lot has changed in terms of how they see you. But what's interesting is that now their energy toward the connection is kind of, um, I would say that the energy that they're bringing is a threatened energy. I think that they're still kind of in this energy of like not feeling as though they have a lot to offer. And I also sense that they are coming toward this connection with self-limiting beliefs. So slimy talks about jealousy. It's just like an overall icky feeling. Um, so they could be under the impression that there's someone else currently, but it also could just be their insecurities talking to them or lying to them and making them think that they're not good enough. And the lonely journey of the priestess is recognition that they're recognizing that they have a lot of learning and growth that they have to do. And a lot of this learning and growth is something that has to be done on their own. At least it feels that way to them. Um, but one of the things that the lonely journey of the priestess talks about is how when you choose to take this journey of self-discovery, of introspection, of spiritual enlightenment, oftentimes you find somebody at the top of that mountain. Um, and I think that that's important to remember. And then in terms of how they are currently feeling, we have the vow. So it's very, very, very interesting. I think that they're feeling slimy because maybe for some of you guys, you aren't in a committed connection yet. Um, and they want to make a commitment. Um, there's definitely a feeling of sustainability here, of permanence here. The vow is a promise. They feel like giving themselves to you, but they don't feel worthy. But I'm gonna keep going. This is it. So we have the king and the queen. These are two divine counterparts, and I would say that this person is acknowledging that they feel as though you are their counterpart. You are a perfect match for them. They feel very good in your presence. They're viewing you as this Queen of Cups, and then underneath it here we have the Three of Cups. They feel intense happiness, intense joy, intense playfulness in your presence. Um, and this is love. They feel love. Um, I think also what's interesting is we have the Seven of Cups again. But underneath it, now we have the Ten of Wands instead of the Wheel of Fortune, which is showing me that they want to take a more active approach in their life. They've gone beyond the need to just go with the flow, which at times is absolutely necessary, and now they're recognizing that this isn't necessary anymore, and they can actually put down the burden of feeling like they have too many other things that they need to do and therefore they can't get to this connection. They feel like they can let that idea go and pick this connection. And then we have the Eight of Cups and the. So while they view you as somebody who is really, um, or while they feel very joyful in your presence, they also feel like they feel as though their presence is gloomier. And you could walk away from them. And what I'm sensing with this King of Swords being the bottom of the deck energy, that this is like another energy that this person feels threatened by. And it doesn't necessarily have to be a person. It could be an idea that you have that you're thinking of pursuing, or a goal, or anything that might make this person feel threatened, I think is showing up here because of Slimy. And also with the Eight of Cups is also giving me the same energy as this lonely journey of the Priestess. There is this desire within them to be able to meet you at your level, to meet you as deeply as you have met yourself, perhaps. And they have not arrived there yet, but they're working. Let's get some more. I want to get some more information on how they. How are they feeling about pile one currently? What are their feelings for pile one? Okay, I'm actually going to take both of these. So we have fire. So not only is there, recognition that this is a match, like a perfect match, or a match made in heaven, there's also a lot of passion here. Your person feels very attracted to you, um, and is very turned on by you, and feels very inspired by you, I would say inspiration is probably one of the biggest things. And I think that you inspire them to step up to the plate and challenge themselves to reach their fullest potential. And it seems like over here in the past, they weren't really in this divine masculine energy. It seems like they were just kind of like being blown about by the wind wherever they were, just like flying by the seat of their pants, with no direction, with no intention. It seems almost like they were receptive to their environment rather than being active in it. And now they feel empowered in ending this and taking on a divinely masculine approach so that they can show up as your divine masculine. And of course, you could be this could be about any gender. It's just energetically, that's what's showing up. Just energetically, masculine energy is more of an active energy, and feminine energy is more of a receptive energy. And I'm seeing that having switched in the past to the present. Um, yeah, let's go ahead and get this through. Oh, jeez. Well, goodness, let's see what comes. What does pile one's person want to say to pile one? We need to let each other. Very interesting. And I think that if this is something that's resonating with you, I don't feel as though this is a permanent thing. I think this has to do with this lonely journey of the priestess. And remember what I was talking about, where I was saying that oftentimes this journey starts off alone, only to realize that you meet your counterpart along the way, or you finally are ready for your counterpart. And I think that what this card is really indicating is a need to start that. What does tile one's person want to say to pile? I wish I could share my good news with. I left when I saw you with. Yeah, I think that um I'm definitely picking up on like an insecure, jealous feeling, a threatened energy. One more. What do you want to say? It's time for me to heal now. Yes, I would. And we have, I lost myself for a little while. Yeah, I would say that this person feels inspired by you and feels driven to be the best version of themselves so that they can be a good partner. Finally, I am going to get you some advice. What advice is there for Pio? We have appreciation. I appreciate the unique ways other people show their love rather than compare their ways with my ways. Then I appreciate myself for maturely putting up with people who just can't seem to show love the normal, obvious, universally. Good job, both of you. And depth. As new people show up in my life, I look for all the weird, wonderful, complex layers below their surface. I can't be surprised by someone's depth of character unless I'm willing to peel back the outer layers and go a little deeper. It's like the brand new saying goes, don't judge an onion by its haircut. Okay, Pile 1, well, that is what I'm seeing for you today. If this reading resonated with you, I would love to know about how it did in the comment section down below. And hopefully I will have the chance to read for you in another video soon. Bye. Hello, Pile 2. So today's reading is asking how they saw you and felt about you then versus how they see you and feel about you now. So let's go ahead and get on into how they saw you in the past. So back then, they saw you as the hedonist and the turtle, and their energy toward the connection at the time was scry mirror. Okay. So I'm kind of picking up on both the light and the shadow attributes. I feel like for some of you, you may have shown up or they may have seen you in these light attributes of the hedonist where you were somebody who just knew how to have a good time. Honestly, I think the light and the shadow attributes go hand in hand. Perhaps there was some overindulgence for some of you, but more the biggest takeaway from this is that they saw you as somebody who was down for a good time and who lived life to the full and knew how to enjoy themselves and was unafraid to do so, was unafraid to let themselves go and have a good time. And they also saw you as the turtle. And the turtle is a creature that is very grounded. So even though they saw you as this person who was um, always in kind of like a playful energy or a creative energy, they also saw you as somebody who was very sure of themselves, who was at home with themselves, who was comfortable with themselves, somebody who seems very self-confident and self-assured and full of self. And um, their energy toward the connection was scry mirror. So what I'm picking up on from this was that their energy when they first met you or in the past was kind of it wasn't very active, I guess, like and perhaps it was, but like their biggest energy was more so learning from you, if that makes sense, like looking at you as if you were a mirror, seeing they saw a lot of themselves in you and it fascinated them. And they also felt as though there was more to this connection than they could quite put their finger on. So there was a lot of observing at the Um, yeah, there was kind of like this like little tiny feeling that kept pinging at them, I guess. And they chose to listen to that feeling and explore what it meant further. Not necessarily explored the feelings, but explored why it was that they kept receiving that feeling. So let's keep. How was pile two's person? How did they feel about pile two then? Of wands, swords, two of swords, seven of wands, the four of wands. Very. So as you can see, there are no cups. There's no cups. There's no pentacles. This is all swords and wands. And what I'm sensing is that when they first met you, I feel like they didn't really trust you. With the seven of swords here and the four of wands, I'm sensing that they didn't really trust your perhaps lifestyle or your approach to life in terms of wanting to have fun, wanting to enjoy yourself, putting play ahead of work, perhaps for some of you, or feeling so like there was just something so different about you and your approach to life that they did not trust it. However, they were drawn to it. The Four of Wands is a very celebratory card. It talks about a homecoming. It talks about marriage. It's partying. Um, and so I think that they didn't trust the level of joy in which they felt, or if it wasn't mistrust, it was like a just feeling like this is different and it feels off, and therefore it makes me a little uncomfortable. Um, but curious at the same time. We have the two of wands and the page of swords. So even though there was mistrust, or there was like that's really the biggest feeling I'm getting, is that they didn't trust you. And even though they didn't trust you, they also knew that they also felt inspired. I feel like with the two of wands, they felt inspired, and they felt that feeling I was talking about with Scry Mirror, where they were realizing that these feelings were coming up. There was a feeling that there was something more here, or there was something to be learned here, and it would do them good to make the decision to explore that further. And with the King of Swords and the Seven of Wands, I also feel as though there was like kind of a battle within them. So the Seven of Wands can definitely be a card about like combat, or about standing up for what you believe in. And I feel like there was like an inner conflict going on between them, between feeling very passionately toward you and also wanting to stay in a logical state. um and then we have the moon. They just felt so confused. They felt very, very confused and a little fearful of you. um and they could not quite put their finger on what. um Yeah, let's go ahead and look at how they are currently seeing you. So currently, pile two, they see you as the angel. and the cobra. So, and then their energy toward you right now is body. Um, so it seems to me like they're seeing you in so in pile one, they their person really haven't changed a whole lot in terms of how they viewed you. But in this instance, it does seem like it's like over here in the past, it seems like they viewed you as somebody who was kind of all about yourself. And over here, it seems more so like they view you as somebody who is in this light attribute of the angel, where there's actually a lot of complexity to you that goes beyond you just wanting to life for yourself. You want others to have, you know, joy and love as well, and you're happy to give that whenever you can. But they're also seeing you as the cobra, which is much different than this. He kind of flies by the seat of their pants, or does, or does what it is that they want. The cobra is a very patient and also like a continuous student, um, who really acknowledges when there are things left to be learned, and goes after their real I think they saw you in the past as somebody who is like a little bit like one dimensional, and they're realizing that you're like much more complex than that, and it's making you all the more. And here this card represents how they're currently feeling about you, and we have, so this is, it's, I think it's interesting because it seems like there's like such a shift here from here we had no cups at all, no heart space at all, nothing indicating emotions, and here we have, and we also have the body as their energy toward this connection right now, which I think is really interesting because the body indicates conflict. And a lot of it has to do with like spiritual conflict, a lot of the time, of recognizing that you are more than a three-dimensional being, but still being stuck within your body, and having to experience three-dimensional things. Um, but here, and it also talks about how having a body makes everything much more complicated. And what I'm hearing is sex makes everything more complicated. And I feel like this person is kind of energetically currently in a situation, or energetically is coming toward this situation where they desire you, there's passion, but there's also more now. And they feel confused. But the heart space is, for the heart to show up, is how this person is feeling. um this person is feeling like knocking down walls, knocking down their walls, allowing their heart to be touched, wanting their heart to be touched. Their heart is moved by you. But let's keep, how does file two's person feel of the full mission of wands, the three of swords? Back of the deck we have the eight of swords. Okay. I would say that this person, so right underneath body, which I was saying is like the big conflicting energy right now, kind of what I'm getting honestly is that this person's intentions when they first met you was to just have somebody to hook up with. This wasn't supposed to be anything that turn it anything more. And now they're seeing you as like somebody who actually is this angel, is this really sweet person. And it doesn't get rid of the fact that they want to hook up, but also there's feelings that are stirring within their heart. And because of this, we have the Five of Swords and the Six of Pentacles. It feels like now using you for just sex, or using you for your body in one way, shape, or another, like using you in any type of way other than like wanting to connect with you deeply and wholly, feels makes them feel bad, makes them feel guilty, makes them feel like it's not what you deserve. And I think this Eight of Swords really is indicative of them not know, like they're just conflicted. It's just conflicting energy, not knowing what, not being ready, not having been prepared for feelings, for emotion. Um, I also feel like with the Magician and then the Three of Swords, they're viewing they're viewing their heart as a weakness. They're viewing this as a weakness, like it's taking away from their power. Having feelings is taking away from their power. And having feelings means that that they are creating pain for themselves, future pain for them. But at the same time, with the Fool here, it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter that they're afraid. The Fool talks all about feeling really, really afraid and still taking the leap, not even thinking twice about it, just doing it. And the King of Wands is a manifester, and so is the Magician. But I think that the Magician showed up to indicate just how profoundly fearful they are of having romantic feelings for another. And here they're realizing that you can have fears and still take the leap of faith and still be successful. They're kind of what's the word? They're bouncing those ideas back and forth. How are they currently feeling? Transformation and nature. So this is further confirmation that profound changes happen from somebody who was very logical to somebody whose heart space is open. And with nature spirits, I would say that it's almost giving me the energy of this body card, where it's like I think they're slowly coming to the realization that having like a physical connection and letting yourself go on all aspects of that, especially in your heart space, is actually like a really profound part of like the magic of the universe. How I want to say it. It's like they're realizing almost that resisting their feelings, resisting all of their desires is unnatural. That's how I want it. Let's go ahead, hit some channeled message. Find that. What does Pile 2 want to say? Pile 2's person want to say to Pile 2? I left before you could. I see that. I see that catching feelings is something that they view as a weak. So many things remind me of you. I wish I could take my words back. You don't know how hard it was. So I feel like for some of you, just based on what I'm seeing, there's been like kind of like a runner chaser dynamic. This could be kind of like an on again, off again type of thing, or like I just sense that this person is pulling back every once in a while because they get freaked out. And obviously, not all of these are going to resonate with every single one of. I hope that you can forgive me one. I think that this person, what I'm picking up on, the biggest thing I'm picking up on from all of this is that this person wants you to know that they are still being controlled by their fears and they are trying very hard to face them at, because it's not fun to live in fear and they're not getting what it is that they want. Um, Finally, let's get some advice. What advice is there for harmony? I know in my heart that when something is right, it feels easy and breezy, even though that sounds cheesy. With this in mind, I banish all stress, insecurity, and tedious work from my relationships. Then I invite harmonious relationships into my life and let them show up on their own time. Easy breezy things are rarely. What advice is there for Kyle's? Jenny Dana. Perspective. What does a hawk see when it flies over your house besides the family of mice living nearby that you don't know about? What will your current problems, conflicts, complaints look like when you're 80 years old? And you gaze back on the timeline of your life. In this moment, you are being given the gift of clear perspective, of knowing that in the end, everything is going to be probably much better than. Think large enough and even big issues become small. Become an 80-year-old hawk, and you're really on to. Okay, pile two. Well, this is where I am leaving you for today. Thank you so much, and I hope that I will have the chance to read for you in another video soon. Bye. Hello, pile three. So today's reading is asking how they saw you and felt about you then versus how they see you and feel about you now. So let's go ahead and get on into it. Back then, your person saw you as the addict and the elf, and their energy toward the connection was cosmic exploration. And then, actually, let's do this first. So, back then, it looks like they saw you as somebody who was reliable, consistent, a little bit in their masculine energy, perhaps was taking the reins on this connection, was wanting it to go in a certain way, was wanting consistency from this other person, um, and also somebody who was they saw you as somebody who was able to call yourself out on your bullshit. Like you were somebody who they saw you as somebody who really valued introspection and self growth, some self love, as well as self accountability. They truly saw you as the way I see it, especially with cosmic exploration here. So cosmic exploration is their energy toward the connection in the past, and it's making me feel as though they were not tied down to this. They did not want to put roots in this connection at the time. They were like kind of still seeing what else was out there. And so like I'm kind of picking up on this energy of like somebody who was thinking to themselves, gosh, they would make such a wonderful partner, just not for me. Like it was kind of like that. Um, they just were, and it's not like just not for me because X, Y, and Z is something that they do, and I don't like that. There was no but besides, but I'm emotionally unavailable. That's kind of what I'm picking up on. But how did File 3's person feel about how did they feel free of Wands? So what I'm getting is that hi hi. Okay. So again, we have so they saw you as like this perfect um partner, and like I was saying, it didn't have to do with you like they're a perfect partner but not for me. That didn't have to do with some weird quirky thing that you did that just turned them off, or like there was nothing that they felt was incompatible. It was quite the opposite. They felt a profound amount of emotion for you. um they felt deep love. If this is resonating with, I mean, obviously, if you know that this person hardly knows you, that's probably not what's happening. But as a general reading, what this is indicating is deep love. And if it's not that, if this was like something that really was more surface level, I would say that they felt a spark in their heart. Um, And the Four of Wands is a card about like marriage and homecoming. They felt so comfortable with you, but it freaked them out and made them want to shut off their hearts. And they wanted to think about things more clearly. They wanted to think about things from a logical perspective rather than listening to. They also felt a lot of passion for you with the Three of Wands and the Eight of Wands. Um, it was like it's like the what I'm feeling is like they felt as though this was like the right person, wrong time type thing, where like they still had more exploring to do. Um, yeah, let's see what's going on over here. So currently they are viewing you as child nature and the earth. Their energy toward this connection is So it seems to me like now they're seeing just like a little bit more of your humanity. Um, but they still see the same sweet person. Um, but I think that they no longer see you as somebody who is in like a masculine energy, as somebody who is kind of taking the lead. They see you as someone who has taken steps back, and is much more reserved and timid in this connection. Um, and the energy toward this connection is hiding, and their feelings for you currently are the mask and the gem. What this is telling me with the mask here is that they have so much that they want to reveal to you, and with hiding here as well. They feel a great deal for you, and I almost, with what I was picking up on here energetically, they hit it very well, because it wasn't until I saw these two cards here that I realized that, oh wow, there actually is like there were deep feelings here. They're just like commitment phobic, but I mean, like, this is confirming that this person has deep feelings for you, and they're currently hiding them for whatever reason, but emotionally they feel a strong drive to remove this mask finally, and to explore this. And the reason why we have the gem here, so the reason why they finally want to remove that mask is because they're finally recognizing a connection like this is irreplaceable. There's so much value in this connection, it's priceless. You cannot put a price on it because you cannot. Let's keep. Okay, how is Pile Free's person currently feeling about Pile Free? We have the Ace of Wands, the Lovers. Okay, we have Judgment. The Four of Pentacles right in the same exact. Okay, we have the Hermit reverse. Oops. We have the Ten of Wands reversed and the Star reversed. And then on the back of the deck, we have. So I feel as though your person has had a wake up. With Judgment here, this is indicating to me a wake up call. And the wake up call is that if they can't be true to how they're feeling, if they can't be vulnerable, they're going to lose this. It's going to be a wish that never comes true. And they might be seeing you as this person holding this 10 wands in which you're about to let them go because it's becoming burdensome. They feel a strong drive toward you with the Chariot here and then the Ace of Wands. They feel very, very, very drawn to you, very inspired by you, very attracted to you still. Um, the Four of Pentacles, though, that feeling hasn't changed. This fear of being vulnerable hasn't changed, but there's inspiration to change it. There's inspiration to change it. And then we see it here with the Hermit reversed too. This person does not want to be alone. This person does not want to explore their options. This person knows what they want, and it's you. How are they currently feeling? There's some major changes coming toward this person, and they're feeling it. They're feeling it within themselves, within their heart space. How's this person currently? And we have courage. Yes. Oh my gosh. Thank goodness. They know that it's worth it, that this is irreplaceable. They better find the courage. That's what they're telling themselves. They better find the courage before they break their own heart. And finally, let's get both messages. What do you want to say to pile 3? I want to tell you how I feel. Yep, what did I? They need to let each other go. Very interesting. I don't I don't think that this is what this person actually is feeling. I think this is a fear that's being projected. I wish I could take back my words. One more thing. And I lost myself for. Okay, and finally, pile 3, let's get you some advice, and then we are going to call it good. What advice is there for pile 3? Honesty. This heralds a wonderful time of rooting yourself in complete and total honesty. It might seem scary to tell the truth all the time with everyone about everything, but when you practice radical honesty, you can stop hiding and start relaxing. The best part is, honesty from you inspires honesty from others. What results is a rootin' tootin' trust parade, and everyone's invited, except the bagpipe players. But you know they'll show up. And one more. Surrender. Hear ye, you are hereby being called to unclench your grip on any old thought patterns that are getting in your way. Surrender any ideas that make you feel like a victim of circumstance or which make your dream relationship seem like an impossibility. The mayor of reinvention has just arrived and has made the following decree. Limiting beliefs about yourself and your life are therefore heretofore, heretofore forthwith officially and indubitably declared for the birth. All right, pile 3. Well, this is where I'm going to leave you. Thanks, pile 3. I hope I'll get to see you again soon. Bye. Hello, pile 4. So today we are asking how did they see you and how did they feel about you then versus how they see and feel about you now. So, how they saw you then was as the guide. Their energy toward the connection at the time was laughing and so this person in the past saw you as somebody who really challenged them to be the best version of. They saw you as somebody who had really mastered themselves or mastered certain aspects of yourself or your life that you deemed to be very important to you. And they also saw you as somebody who was kind of catapulting them into some sort of like karmic. Um, and with guide here, they saw you as somebody who would lead them where it is that they wanted. They saw you as somebody that they trusted, um but also somebody who is wiser than them. Um, yeah, and then for their energy toward the connection to be laughing and crying, it feels like there was like an emotional overwhelm or an emotional release in this connection. Like they felt very emotionally to you and showed that in order to release it from just being held within them. But let's keep going with how did they feel about Kyle? How did they feel about the Nine of Coins or Pentacles, the King of the Death Wheel? It's very interesting. It seems like they felt very abundant when they were around you because you, like I was saying with this eagle here, you mastered a lot. At least that's how they viewed you. And being around you, they felt kind of like they were picking up on your energy. They were very inspired by you. They were driven to have kind of an abundance for themselves, to be sure of themselves. I think it's interesting that we have such positive energy. Like the Nine of Pentacles is so positive, so beautiful. It's such a beautiful singular type of energy of somebody just sitting in their power. And the Eight of Wands is all about motion. It's a very positive. But then we have the Five of Pentacles of Cups. It's like this laughing and crying card indicates there was a lot of emotions going on in this person at the time that were spilling on into this connection. And um, so like I just see conflicting energy. I see somebody who felt very inspired, somebody who felt a whole lot of love for you, somebody who felt a strong desire to show up. I think for a lot of them, one of the things that they were to do with their finances, or at least showing up in a way in which they felt stable. And they wanted to do that. They felt driven to do that, and they wanted to do that for this. Um, but also, I feel like there was a fear of abandonment from this person. The Five of Pentacles is about abandonment, and the Seven of Wands is about combat or about being confrontational. And it seems like this person had a very deep seated fear of being abandoned. And the fear of the feelings that would and then now they see you as the pioneer and as the firefly, and their energy toward the connection is twin and be free, do what you love. So I think that this is really interesting. It seems like their fear of abandonment has kind of transitioned into how they see you now, which is somebody who is very inspiring, that the firefly lights up the sky for a brief moment, but it can't necessarily be caught. And it's fleeting. The inspiration is fleeting. And with Pioneer here, they're still seeing you as somebody who is passionate, but I think that you're moving on from having mastered things to becoming a student again, or to exploring different ways to do, and they're seeing this in you. But instead of viewing this in the sense of your fleeting or your energy, your impermanent, instead of viewing it as like abandonment or having like an emotional response to that, now they seem, it seems as though from what I'm seeing here, that the energy toward this connection is much more secure. We have twin and be free, do what you love. It feels like they now in a state of love, they're recognizing that you two are counterparts, and if this connection is being divinely protected. But also, I think that they're just more stable in the sense that they know that this connection has a purpose. They trust that, but they also have love for you, and because of that, they want you to be able to have your freedom. And then how they're feeling currently is agape. So how they feel currently is devotion, devoted. They feel devoted to you. They feel profound love for you. Um, I would say there are aspects in which they might be questioning themselves in terms of what it is that they're focusing on. But for the most part, I would say that they feel a great deal of loyalty. How are they currently feeling about pile 4? Okay, we have the Page of Wands, Hermit, the Emperor, Devil reversed. I'm just taking this one. We have the and we have the 5 of, and then on the back of the deck we have the 9 of Wands. Seems like currently the Devil is reversed, which I think is a really positive thing. It feels like that fear of abandonment has kind of like been. It seems like this person is exploring other ways in which to connect with you that do not depend on codependency, do not depend on. There is an element of control here with the Emperor, but what I'm sensing with this Two of Cups is that they're feeling like they're more in control of kind of like their emotional outbursts or their emotional impulses rather than like needing to control you. They're recognizing that what they do have control over is how they react or how they respond to others. They cannot control others. I would say that with the Hermit and the Moon, there is there are still fears here, but there's like an element of trust within themselves that was not there in the like there's a center of gravity within themselves. And the 9 of Wands, that indicates to me that they do feel as though this connection has been challenging, but they're still standing and they have no intention of giving up. It feels like this person has grown profoundly. Then finally, let's get these. What are they currently feeling? Okay, we have Shadow. New Moon. Yeah, I think I think what's really interesting is that we have like a card here indicating devotion, and we have these cards here indicating like a very strong connection and a very pure love. But then these cards here really are more so focused on how this person is feeling about themselves rather than you. And I'm seeing the same thing here. This person, I think, is really going through some profound changes, some new beginnings here with New Moon that have to do with shadow work. And from what I'm seeing here, they've done a lot. They've done a lot of work, but it's not complete yet. And then finally, let's get some messages. What do you want to say? I'm starting to understand bury myself in work to forget you. Time for me to heal now. and I replay our conversation. Okay, pile 4. Lastly, we have compliments. I know how good it feels to get a compliment, so I give that gift to others. I'll find a nice compliment for everyone I interact with today, even if I have to think really hard about it, in which case I can follow it by complimenting myself for solving such a compliment puzzle. Wow. And humility. I take a deep breath and release all of my desire to be right. Without right, what's left? A soft and pliable version of me that's willing to make mistakes, hear other people's opinions, and try doing stuff a different way. In other words, I get to take a pretty sweet all-inclusive brain. All right, pile 4. Well, this is what I'm seeing for you today. Thank you so much, pile 4. I hope to see you again soon. Bye.